Standing up to the forces of the Southern Ocean for 82 years finally took its toll on the Esperance timber jetty on a Saturday afternoon in September this year. About 1:30 p.m. picnickers heard an almighty crash and turned around to see a 6-meter stretch of the jetty had disappeared, the wood left floating in the ocean. The 512-meter Esperance timber jetty is just one of 3 that remain in Western Australia, along with Caravo's 1-mile jetty and the refurbished Buselto jetty, which stretches almost 2 kilometers into Geography Bay. For many, the partial collapse was the final death knell for the jetty in a saga that has stretched years and divided the community. The Esperance community is split. The Shire wants to replace it with something more durable where ongoing costs do not become a drain on ratepayers. Because it's driven a massive wedge in there. But Friends of the Esperance Tanker Jetty Chairman Tony Bright said the timber structure could be restored and its history retained, without being a burden on ratepayers. Our research has shown that the methods and the cost of materials and the people who would be involved in doing it would lead to a much more reasonable result than what was previously projected, he said. The Shire believes those claims that stack up. Caravo Heritage Group has the license for the 1-mile jetty and estimates a full restoration, including a functioning rail line, would cost up to $40 million. The group's chairman Tom Day conceded they would need a financial white knight to see that full restoration. The Buselto community fought to save its 152-year-old jetty and in 2009 they won. But it cost $27 million for the initial works and has an ongoing maintenance bill of $800,000 each year. Buselto Jetty Chief Executive Officer Lisa Shreve said they had managed to turn a profit, carving out a position in the tourism landscape as the longest timber jetty in the Southern Hemisphere and home to one of the world's 5 underwater observatories. The Buselto Jetty has about 470,000 visitors a year, Ms. Shreve said. Without the jetty there would be 110 fewer jobs in Buselto and $10 million is indirectly injected into the economy from the jetty. She had some advice for communities trying to retain their timber jetties. What's their competitive advantage? What can they do that can add to what's already there and grow on that competitive advantage? Further complicating matters, the Western Australian government has slapped a conservation order on the Esperance jetty. That means any renovation must retain the heritage value and tell the story of the structure. How exactly that is reflected in construction is still not quite known. The Shire is in the process of obtaining the services of a heritage architect to help them meet that stipulation. The Friends of the Esperance Tanker Jetty are also pinning their hopes on the Heritage Council intervention. For many in the community they just want to cast a line in the deep waters of Esperance Bay. Eventually you will have a recreational fishing jetty, Mrs. Brown assured them.